Hello and welcome to the story of Charlton Athletics' 2014-15 season. It proved to be a rollercoaster of a campaign with a 12-match unbeaten run at the start, 3 months without a victory and 7 wins in 9 games that guaranteed a top-half finish. Coming up, you'll see every goal, home and away, as well as interviews from the end-of-season Player of the Year awards. So sit back and enjoy. The summer of 2014 was a busy one in the transfer market. Bob Peters was appointed head coach and he was extremely busy recruiting players. In came goalkeeper Stephen Henderson from West Ham United, Icelandic international Johan Berg Gudmundsson from AZ Alkmaar, Angolan striker Igor Vetekeli came from FC Copenhagen, George Stukadian and Tal Ben Haim from Standard Liège, as well as securing 1-year loan deals for Jonny Boyens and Frederick Bülow from the Belgian club. They were also joined by free agents Andre Biquet and Frank Musa. The season kicked off with an opening day trip to Griffin Park to face newly promoted Brentford in a London derby. Commentary comes from Tony Husband.
Goodwill has Judge lining one up, took a deflection possibly, and Henderson carries it away and behind for a corner. Tarkowski's header, but it's going to come back potentially from Solly here. And there's the header and a good save, and off the post as well. The follow-up wide from Stukadian. Charlton's front pair combining Vetekeli's first effort, then the woodwork, then the shot wide. Good high cross, a hanging header from Vetekeli, and Stukadian blasting the follow-up wide. Pushed onto the post by Button. Jackson will take it. Right in on the line and into the back of the net as well. Charlton have scored. Vetekeli right on the line with the keeper. Button may have appeared to just bash it into his own net, but Charlton lead on the opening day. Vetekeli will claim it. May well have got a touch off David Button in there as well, but right in front of the celebrating Charlton fans, Charlton are in front. Smith's back pass, and the keeper hesitated for a moment, and Button's way out of range now. Could be a chance for Harriott. Oh, it's off the other side of the bar. Effectively an open goal, and the substitute spurns the chance by the narrowest of margins, and Brentford stay in the game. Well, a real mess. Button's hesitation. McCormack. Still plenty of attacking threat there, all the way through for Tommy Smith. Smith! An equaliser for Brentford from the debut boy, Tommy Smith. It found a way through, and the former Cardiff man marks his first team debut with a goal which might just save Brentford on this opening day. A horrible deflection off Ben Haim, I think it was, but Smith will want to claim it, and Brentford have the leveller. Bob, it's a point for you. Did you think near to the end there it might have been all 3?
At the end, you still need to play for the 1 point because they got fresh legs because they scored the equaliser. Yeah, we missed a 2-0 for an open goal. Callum Harriott. Okay, that's football. Again, I'm happy with the way my team was solid at the back and we did well. We created chances. The only thing we forgot is to win the game.
A disappointing late twist, but the Addicts would pick up their first win just 3 days later at home to Colchester United. Charlton took the lead from the penalty spot following Magnus Okayungai's handball and subsequent red card. Jonny Boyens opened his and Charlton's account. The tie was settled with 2 Addicts goals in 5 minutes early in the second half, and it was an unlikely scorer who netted both. Laurie Wilson doubled the lead 10 minutes after the restart. And within 5 minutes, it was 3-0 and game over, thanks to another fine finish from the former academy graduate. With time running out, the home side added a fourth. Simon Church tapped in from close range as the Addicts eased through to the second round. Four days later saw Wigan visit the Valley, and Charlton took the lead after only 8 minutes. This fabulous strike from Jordan Cousins was one of the goals of the season. However, the visitors were soon level. Callum McManaman equalised midway through the first half. After half-time, the Addicts were forced into a change as keeper Stephen Henderson was forced to go off and was replaced by Nick Pope. But the young keeper was barely troubled, and the Addicts were to win the game in dramatic fashion as Frank Musa's shot deflected over a despairing Scott Carson to secure the Addicts another home win. And Charlton would follow that up with 3 more points against one of the promotion favourites. The Rams did the double over the Addicts the previous season, but it was a very different story here. George Tucker-Dean's first goal for the club got the home side off to an ideal start. The visitors though drew level 20 minutes later. Jamie Ward, who'd scored 4 times in the club's last 4 meetings, made it 5 in 5, although he would add yet another goal to his tally later on. Before that though, Charlton would regain the lead right on the stroke of half-time. After Tucker-Dean had been fouled by Richard Keogh, up stepped Johnny Boy entering the penalty spot. And the win was sealed with 12 minutes left. Igor Vetikali got onto the end of this cross to all but seal an impressive victory. But it was that man Ward who would have the final say, grabbing what proved to be a consolation with 5 minutes to go. Although Nick Pope in a Charlton goal really could have done better. This one finished 3-2. The following weekend saw Charlton travel to the John Smith Stadium to take on Huddersfield Town. The Addicts thought they'd made the ideal start, but Igor Vetikali's effort was ruled out for offside. The Addicts' cause was helped on the stroke of half-time when the Terriers were reduced to 10 men after Murray Wallace pulled back Vetikali, who had a clear run on goal. But the Terriers came out in determined fashion for the second half, and the 10 men went ahead shortly after the restart. Naki Wells fired the hosts into a surprise lead. And Huddersfield thought they'd sealed the win late on. However, Tal Ben Haim's challenge on James Vaughan surprisingly went unpunished by referee Tim Robinson. It would prove to be a crucial decision, as with the game deep into added time, Vetikali pounced from close range to grab a point for the visitors as this game finished 1-1. Derby gained some revenge for their league defeat at the Valley earlier in the month by seeing off the Addicts in this Capital One Cup tie. The winning goal, though, came in controversial fashion. After keeper Nick Pope was deemed rather harshly to have taken too long to clear the ball, the resulting free kick, bizarrely awarded outside the box, eventually found its way to Ivan Calero, who blasted home the winner. Next up was a trip to the south coast, and it took the Addicts just 4 minutes to go ahead at Brighton. Igor Vetikali's strike was his 4th of the month, and he wasn't finished there. But before the Angolan striker got in on the goal-scoring act again, the home side drew level. Lewis Dunk's header made it 1-1 midway through the second half. Vetikali put the Addicts back in front almost immediately with a finish that summed up what had been a quite spectacular opening month at the club. Deep into added time, Charlton hearts were broken as Lewis Dunk headed home from another set piece to make the final score 2-2. One month gone and an unbeaten start from Charlton, a place in the top 6, and the much changed squad seemed to be gelling quite nicely, and that good form would continue into September.
Ball forward to Vettel-Kelly, down in the area, penalty kick. Just over 90 seconds played. Aurelio Gomez with a yellow card for the foul on Vettel-Kelly. Ball through from Cousins. Watford claiming that the Charlton man was already on his way down. But Andy Madley points to the spot, and Charlton have this early opportunity to move in front. Yoni Boyens has already scored twice from the spot this season. The Belgian, on loan from Standard Liège, puts Charlton in front. Gomez goes the wrong way. And it's a fantastic start for the Addicts. Gomez to his left, calmly stroked the other way. 10 minutes played at the Valley, and in accordance with the family of David White, a minute's applause begins for the late Charlton striker, who sadly died this week, aged 43. David White, who scored 35 goals in 106 appearances for Charlton between 1992 and 1997. Long-range shot from Anya. Henderson saw it late. And it's behind for another Watford corner. Terrific effort. Buda. Half cleared by Ben Haye. Dyer. He can put it onto his left foot. Oh, got in the way there with Eghalo. Might drop here. Terrific shot. Daniel Tozer with the effort, and Henderson keeps it out with his best save of the afternoon. Absolutely no doubt about that from the goalkeeper. Superbly struck. And Henderson behind it.
Well, Bob, it's a very satisfactory start to the season, isn't it now? 3 home wins and 3 away draws, and you remain unbeaten. But it was hard at times today, wasn't it?
Not only at times, it was very hard. We knew they were a very, very strong side. And again, we were hesitating before the game. Are they going to play 3-5-2? Are they going to play 4-3-3? But then again, I think we know we're going to get our chances, especially with the pace of Igor. And, okay, we punished them the first half. And then, yeah, you know they were going to come on to us, and yeah, they kept on bringing attackers on. Even the right back second half with 3 at the back was a winger. So we know that we need to stand our ground and try to get something out of it.
3 days later, and the Addicts were back in action in SE7 for the visit of newly promoted Wolves. And Charlton took the lead midway through the first half as Andre Piqué netted his first goal for the club. That lead could have been doubled before the break, but George Tucker-Dian fired wide. And the Addicts were made to pay as Wolves earned a point thanks to Danny Bart's header on 65 minutes. Her first ever visit to the New York Stadium was next up, and the Addicts started impressively. Johan Gudmundsson's fine finish put Charlton into the lead with his first goal of what would turn out to be a very productive season. The Millers would earn a share of the spoils though. With 20 minutes left, Luciano Becchio headed home Ben Pringle's cross to make it honours even. Middlesbrough were the visitors to the Valley a week later, and after an uneventful game, the match sprung into life late on. Borough were reduced to 10 men as Albert Adoma received a second booking following this challenge on Royce Wiggins. George Tuckadian almost grabbed the late winner, but he saw his header cleared off the line as Borough managed to hang on for a point. 3 days later, the Addicks were off to Carrow Road, where they would record arguably their best result of the season against the recently relegated Canaries. Charlton were indebted to goalkeeper Stephen Henderson, who frustrated the home side time and time again. Nathan Redmond and Wes Houlihan were both kept out by the Addicks number one here, and the Canaries would pay the ultimate price for those missed chances, as Johnny Jackson fired home with just 4 minutes remaining following one of Charlton's rare attacks. He would earn a famous victory in Norfolk to maintain the unbeaten start. Ten games gone, and although Charlton were in 7th place, they were just 2 points off the summit, and that unbeaten run would be extended as we moved into October. Birmingham were the next visitors to SE7, and Charlton would make it 11 league games without defeat, despite being held here. Igor Vetikali gave the Addicks the ideal start, but they couldn't build on it. And 10 minutes into the second half, a first Blues goal for David Davis would earn the visitors a share of the spoils as this match ended 1 apiece. The unbeaten start was finally ended at the Goldstand Stadium as champions-elect Bournemouth ran out winners in a game that was more one-sided than the scoreline would suggest. The Cherries got off to the ideal start as Charlton were unable to clear a corner, and Callum Wilson fired the home side into the lead after only 3 minutes. The closest the Addicks came to drawing level was this Johan Gudmundsson free kick, but Artur Boric tipped it over, and the visitors were unable to fashion another decent opportunity thereafter as the home side earned a 1-0 win. Charlton rediscovered the winning habit 3 days later against Bolton. Johnny Boyan's clever through ball set up George Tuckadian. He fired beyond Andy Lonergan to put the Addicks ahead. And Tuckadian turned provider shortly after the break, setting up captain Johnny Jackson to make it 2-0. It seemed as if it was game over. But the Trotters were able to halve the deficit almost immediately. Dean Moxey's effort though would prove to be only a consolation as the Addicks picked up another victory. The following Friday saw over 3,000 Charlton fans travel to Fulham despite the match being live on Sky. Commentary comes from Gary Birtles and Gary Weaver.
Since the start of last season, 7 players have started at Charlton from that youth academy, but they're in trouble here. And this is Ross McCormack. McCormack an acute angle and fired off the bar and in. Scott Parker still has Charlton in his heart and soul, but he has just struck at the heart of his old club.
Well, it looked like the chance had gone then when McCormack's first touch was a little bit heavy, but he was the man who started this. You watch this. He intercepts this ball, he reads it beautifully, and he bombs on, and he does what Musa didn't. He played it wide. There's the heavy touch, but it's a brilliant ball back in there by McCormack. He knew his first touch had let him down, but it didn't worry him too much. He just put it back into an area he knew somebody could attack.
Decent ball and repelled for now by Ben Haim. It's McCormack. Now it's Rodallega. Kid Sirens, the caretaker manager, with the golden touch, has got Fulham breathing fire again. They have taken firm control of this game.
It's an absolute delight to watch at the moment, the way they're moving the ball. Watch it there, 1 and 2 touches, the ball's played him first time. He thinks he's done okay there. McCormack, it's a decent touch and volley. Keeper makes a cracking save, but that's where strikers come alive. mean, that's decent defending, but look at McCormack, takes his time, hits the target, good save, but Roddy Yeager expected it to come back to him there, just waiting for that opportunity to pounce, and just calms himself, doesn't try and hit it too hard.
Now it's Musa, plenty of space to work in here. Musa!
I think Bettinelli had that covered, you know. Oh, good turn there. They're all back off him, he's got a lot of time.
This is Christensen. The rain cascading down again on the banks of the Thames. Christensen, now it's Hugo Rodallega. Rodallega! Great composure! Fulham are alive again! They are chasing the storm clouds away!
Well, he's capable of doing this, Rodallega. And you look at the build up this, Christensen, it should have been played across here. The arms are outstretched, wasn't played. Lays Rodallega in, gets a little bit lucky here. Defender slips, he keeps his feet and just plants it beautifully. Christensen does brilliant here. There's a slip by the defender, but he keeps his composure. Little slip, gains his composure again. There's a slip, could have panicked, didn't panic. Look at the balance when he hits that. Just curls it in that bottom corner.
So a disappointing end to October, but with Charlton just 4 points off the top of the table, things were looking very positive indeed as we moved into winter. November began with a visit of Sheffield Wednesday to the Valley, and it was the Owls who struck first. Royston Drenthe firing past Stephen Henderson midway through the first half. But Charlton dominated after the break and were rewarded on 70 minutes. Superb play by Royce Wiggins set up substitute Igor Vetekele, and he drew the Addicts level. Charlton thought they'd won it late on, but Laurie Wilson's celebrations were cut short by the offside flag, so it finished in a 1-1 draw. Next up was a midweek trip to Ellen Road in a game that saw Francis Coquelin, who joined on loan from Arsenal, make his Addicts bow. And after an uneventful first half, it was Alex Mowat who fired the home side in front after 49 minutes. But just past the hour mark, the Addicts were able to draw level. The ball fell to Johan Gudmundsson in the box, and his finish beat Marco Silvestri to make it 1 each. But Leeds regained their advantage almost immediately. Mowat made it 2-1 with an even better strike than his earlier effort, and the visitors were forced to fight back for a second time. But fight back they did. Referee Graham Salisbury spotted a foul by Giuseppe Belushi, and upset Gudmundsson, who, like Mowat before him, grabbed a second of the night to make the final score 2-2. And a decent week became a superb one at the Madejski Stadium as Charlton earned a narrow victory at Reading. Beaten twice by the Royals in the previous season, Igor Vetekele's header would prove to be the difference as the Addicts gained revenge for those defeats. The home side couldn't find a way beyond Stephen Henderson as Charlton claimed the 3 points. Amazingly, it was the last time they would do that though for over 3 months. And the first game in that winless sequence was the local derby with Millwall. In a match of few chances, Jermaine Easter had Millwall's best opportunity, but the real drama came late on. In the final seconds of stoppage time, George Takadian was put clear on goal. He lost his footing as he rounded David Ford. The chance was gone. So this one finished 0-0. Next up, inform Ipswich Town travelled to the Valley in front of the Sky cameras, and commentary came from Andy Hinchcliffe and Bill Leslie.
Harriet looking for Solly, and Bielkowski again kept busy.
Well, the fullback is so unlucky. His first touch is outstanding because the ball is gunned at Chris Solly. He manages to kill it and get his shot in. And once again, good positioning from the Ipswich keeper.
Goodmanson will have a go now. The deflection actually helpful to Bielkowski.
It's not easy for Bielkowski because of the sun. Low sun makes it difficult for goalkeepers to actually clearly see the ball. But Chris Solly, this first touch, that is outstanding to open the chance up. The goalkeepers work so hard on getting their positioning right, and this is why. A fairly comfortable save yet again.
Cousins. Vetterkelly. Harriet's missed it. Stephen Hunt just taking it off the toes of Goodmanson.
Well, Vetterkelly and Harriet are running Ipswich ragged here, and opportunities continue to come. They're passing them up, that's the major problem. Great awareness from Vetterkelly, unselfish work. You just need that real touch of quality in the final third inside that Ipswich penalty area.
McGoldrick. Still McGoldrick. Noel Hunt! How about that for an impact? In the 95th minute, on his debut, Noel Hunt wins it for Ipswich.
Well, what a way to mark your debut. His first touch makes this happen. David McGoldrick heavily involved, brilliant work from him. They just don't clear their lines, Charlton, but it's all about the first touch. Once you get that ball out of your feet and you give yourself an opportunity to shoot, you can win the game. And right to the death, well, he might have a bloody nose, but that is a quality finish from Noel Hunt. And that's what you want when you come on for your debut, your substitute, you get an opportunity, you want to make an impact. This is really good work from Dave McGold, just keeps it alive. I think this is more of a shot than anything else. You've got to clear your lines better than that. It's a stunning strike, but once again I go back to that first touch. Once it breaks to Noel Hunt, he gets it out of his feet so quickly. That is brilliant. Keep it on target, you get your rewards.
So a devastating and undeserved defeat there. Charlton, though, were still comfortably in mid-table, just 3 points off the top 6 as we moved into December. And first up was a trip to the City Ground, and commentary comes from Dan O'Hagan.
Cousins, Callum Harriet has a go! Oh, he's found the net! For the first time this season, Harriet with a wonderful finish, and Charlton lead by 1-0. But the goal made by a delicious, sumptuous ball from Johan Berg Gudmundsson to find Callum Harriet. And who says the long ball isn't pretty? Look at this. Gudmundsson goes long, very long. Cousins involved, then Harriet. Lovely finish, 1-0 Charlton. Away by Tal Ben Haim here. This is Robert Tesher. Oh my word! What a hit! What a hit from Robert Tesher. Pearce stands motionless. The ball had so much motion, it was unstoppable. Only Tesher's second Forest goal. That is simply stunning. Away by Ben Haim here. The take, the set, the smash, the goal. Igor Vetterkelly for Charlton now for Callum Harriet, who's onside here. Dolo's legs to the rescue for Forest. Now Vetterkelly for Charlton, tees up Laurie Wilson.
Rock bottom Blackpool were the next visitors to the Valley in what turned out to be another disappointing afternoon. Chris Eagles, who would join Charlton later on in the season, put the visitors into a surprising lead after 25 minutes. But the hosts made a swift response. Peter Clark upended Igor Vetterkelly. Up stepped Yoni Boyens to make it 3 converted penalties out of 3 and draw the sides level. Just 10 minutes after the restart, the Addicts were in front. Jordan Cousins' stylish strike made it 2-1, and the home side seems set for a much-needed victory. But the Seasiders had other ideas. With just a minute remaining, Stephen Davis beat Nick Pope to the ball to earn the visitors a share of the spoils. 7 days later, the winless run was extended again as Blackburn recorded a victory over the Addicts. And the win was almost secured in the opening 20 minutes. Jordan Rhodes struck after Jordan Cousins had been dispossessed in midfield. Scotland striker Rhodes doubled his and Blackburn's tally following Rudiger Stead's header to make it a miserable afternoon in Lancashire for the visitors, who succumbed to a 2-0 defeat. Boxing Day saw Cardiff head to SE7, and it turned out to be an eventful encounter. But things didn't start too well for the Addicts. Tom Adeyemi heading the visitors in front after just 12 minutes. And things would soon get worse for the home side. Callum Harriott received a straight red card for this challenge on Craig Noon. It left Charlton with a mountain to climb. But remarkably, it seemed to galvanise the Addicts as they would completely dominate the second half. George Tuckadian came desperately close to equalising before the home side were frustrated by the woodwork once more. This time Johan Gudmundsson was the player left cursing his luck. But Gudmundsson would provide the goal which earned Charlton a point. It was the very least they deserved, and it would later get voted as the goal of the season as the Icelandic international made it 1-1 with a simply outrageous strike. So 2014 ended as it had started, with a trip to Portman Road. With a near sellout crowd of 26,000 behind them, the informed home side was simply too strong for the Addicts. Tommy Smith opened the scoring after half an hour. Ipswich sealed the win with 2 more goals after half-time. Daryl Murphy headed home his 17th of what was an extremely productive season for him. And later on, Dave McGoldrick added some gloss to the scoreline as the Addicts were condemned to defeat. 3-0 was the final score. So with 24 games gone, Charlton were still in mid-table despite a 7-match winless run, although they were comfortably clear of the relegation zone. But things wouldn't get much better in January in League or Cup. The new year was a busy one in the transfer market. Several new players arrived. One of them was former Celtic striker Tony Watt. He joined from Standard Liège and would go on to make quite an impact in the second half of the season. Also arriving was Serbian goalkeeper Marko Dimitrovic from Ujpest, centre-half Roger Johnson, midfielder Christophe Lepointe, and 2006 World Cup finalist and France international Alou Diarra. They were joined by Chris Eagles, who linked up with the club in February. January, however, began with defeat to Blackburn in a quite bizarre FA Cup tie. After reaching the quarter-finals the previous season, Chris Taylor's early header opened the scoring as Charlton went on to exit the competition at the first hurdle. Midway through the first half, though, the match was suspended for some 12 minutes as the floodlights went out, but when power was restored, Charlton's prospects were resurrected. After coming close to an equaliser prior to half-time, the pressure was rewarded as Johan Gudmundsson curled home a delightful free kick. But that joy was to be short-lived. Just 4 minutes later, Taylor grabbed his second of the match as Blackburn progressed to the 4th round. A miserable day for the home fans was complete when midfielder Jonny Boyens was dismissed for a second bookable offence. 2-1 was the final score. Seven days later, the Addicts were back at the Valley for the visit of Brighton and Hove Albion. Chris Solly couldn't have come any closer to earning a 3rd career goal for the Addicts after this outstanding strike. It would prove to be a pivotal moment as within 30 seconds the Seagulls went ahead. Rowan Ince headed home from Solly March's free kick and the Addicts' winless run stretched to 9 games. It would prove one defeat too many for Bob Peters, whose time at the Addicts ended following this defeat. The new man in charge was Israeli Guy Luzon, and while he was waiting for his work permit to be processed, it was left to coaches Damien Matthew and Ben Roberts to take temporary charge of the first team at Vicarage Road. And it turned out to be a chastening afternoon as the Premier League band Hornets inflicted Charlton's heaviest defeat since 2003. Craig Cathcart opened the scoring after just quarter of an hour, and that lead was soon doubled. Troy Deeney got on the end of Gabriel Angela's fine through ball before finishing in style. It was 3-0 before the break. Odion Igalo's first goal of a brace either side of half-time confirmed Watford's victory on what turned out to be an horrific afternoon for the Addicts. Igalo made it forward just before the hour mark, heading home from Daniel Turge's corner. Turge himself made it 5-0 late on as the beleaguered visitors went down to their heaviest defeat for 12 years. Guy Luzon's first match in the dugout came at Molineux, and the Addicts produced a far more resilient display at informed Wolves, and if anything, Charlton looked the more likely winners. The Addicts earned a more than creditable point. Rotherham were up next at the Valley. The Millers almost took an early lead, but Ben Pringle was denied by the frame of the goal and Charlton survived. But they were left cursing their luck not long afterwards when Johan Gudmundsson was equally unlucky. With just 7 minutes remaining, the Addicts did take the lead. Jordan Cousins latched onto this loose ball and fired home his third goal of the season. Charlton couldn't hold on though as the Millers grabbed a point in stoppage time. Danny Ward made it 1-1 as the home side's winless run continued. So at the end of January, the depressing form had seen the Addicts plummet to 18th and ever closer to the bottom three. February, though, would see Charlton finally back to winning ways, although the month didn't start particularly well. And for Charlton, February began with a long trip to a Middlesbrough side who were flying high at the top of the table. Borough were quickly out of the blocks, Patrick Bamford heading them in front after only 6 minutes. But Guy Luzon's men drew level just before the interval. Johan Gudmundsson's superb strike meant it was all square at the break. But after the interval, the informed home side moved up a gear. Just 3 minutes into the second half, Jelle Vossen restored Borough's advantage, and this time there would be no Addicts comeback. Borough sealed their win late on. Lee Tomlin's volley made it 3-1 as Aitor Karanka's men extended their unbeaten run to 9 matches in League and Cup. Another of the promotion favourites were up next in the shape of Norwich City, and after securing a smash and grab raid at Carrow Road back in September, there would be no repeat here. Johnny Howson made it 1-0 after a quarter of an hour. And with the Charlton defence all at sea, the Canaries doubled their lead thanks to Lewis Graben's stylish lob as the home fans vented their frustration at such a lacklustre display. But things were different in the second half as the Addicts fought back. Tony Watt, who came on at the break, found the perfect moment to go and open his account for Charlton. Seven minutes later, the Addicts drew level. Callum Harriott was denied before Igor Vertikeli struck the equaliser. Blink and you'll miss it. The ball rebounding in off the back of the goal. But it was Norwich who had the final say. Cameron Jerome's header made it 3-2 to the Canaries as the Addicts' winless sequence extended into an extremely worrying 14th match in all competitions. But the horrendous run was finally ended against Brentford on Valentine's Day. Johan Gudmundsson drilled in the opener as the home fans fell back in love with their side. The lead was doubled 10 minutes into the second half. Tony Watt laid the ball on a plate for Igor Vetikale, and the striker had no problem in placing the ball beyond former addict David Button. The home side made it 3-0 in stoppage time as Frederick Bülow struck a first goal in Charlton colours, and the long winless run was ended in the best possible style.
First win in 15 games, how does that feel?
15 games for the club, my fifth game, and of course we're waiting for this, and I think we deserve to win because we play very well in attack, also play very well in defense. Brentford is a very good team, and we know how to close them, and also we know how to create chances. We score 3, we can score more, but I'm very satisfied.
And after waiting 3 long months for a win, another one would soon follow against struggling Wigan at the DW Stadium. Frederick Bülow grabbed the opener to make it 2 in 2 games. It would be doubled before half-time as Igor Vetikale continued his rich vein of form by making it 2-0 to all but seal the victory. And goal number 3 arrived in stoppage time. Chris Eagles applying the finish to this sweeping move as Charlton cruised to victory. 3-0 was the final score. The mini revival was ended at the iPro Stadium with defeat to promotion chasing Derby. Jeff Hendrick converted this cross from former Addicts favourite Darren Bent. Derby all but secured the win after little more than quarter of an hour. This time Hendrick turned provider. He set up on loan Manchester United forward Jesse Lingard. The following Saturday was an emotional one in SE7 as former player and manager Chris Powell returned to the Valley to a rapturous reception. And with the club doing its annual Football for a Fiver initiative, over 25,000 supporters packed into the Valley. And they were rewarded with one of Charlton's best performances of the campaign. Johan Gudmundsson's superb free kick set the ball rolling. And that lead was doubled just 3 minutes into the second half. Tony Watt's precise finish gave the Addicts some breathing space, and they would cruise to victory in style. Watt struck his second of the afternoon with an explosive finish as the home side secured a third 3-0 victory in 4 games to leave Guy Luzon absolutely purring.
First, it was very important to us to win this game, and not only to win, the way that we play. Because today it was a full stadium in Charlton. It's not happened every day. And it was very important to us that the fans will go home with a good feeling. Because I'm sure that everyone enjoy. Because today we play fantastic, we play brilliant.
Things were looking a lot better at the end of February. Those 3 wins had moved Charlton into the top half of the table and well clear of relegation danger. March started in a similar vein with victory over Nottingham Forest. Frederick Bülow's superb free kick fired the Addicts into an early lead. It was, though, cancelled out almost immediately. The prolific Michail Antonio fired beyond Stephen Henderson to draw Forest level. But Charlton would regain the lead shortly before half-time, thanks to that man Bülow. The Gabon international struck as the Addicts condemned Dougie Freedman's men to a first defeat of the calendar year. The Addicts would then record a 5th win in 6 games at the Cardiff City Stadium, despite losing number 1 keeper Stephen Henderson to injury in the first half. He was replaced by Marko Dimitrovic, who was beaten shortly after the break as Federico Makeda scored following this assist from Kenwyne Jones. But the visitors would stage a dramatic late fight back. With just over a quarter of an hour remaining, Chris Eagles set up Tony Watt. He made no mistake in drawing the Addicts level. And Charlton would turn the game on its head in the 87th minute. Simon Church was fouled by Sean Morrison. And up stepped Johnny Boyens to win the 3 points in cheeky fashion from the penalty spot. Bogey side Blackburn were next up. They picked up a 3rd victory at the Valley in under a year and a 3rd win of the season over Charlton in League and Cup. Jordan Rhodes opened the scoring after just quarter of an hour. And within 3 minutes, Rovers had doubled their advantage. Roger Johnson will want to forget about this moment of madness as Craig Conway left the Addicts with a mountain to climb. But Charlton fought back after the interval. Jason Steele upended Igor Vetekele. And up stepped Johnny Boyens to maintain his 100% record from the spot this term. The Addicts came desperately close to making it 2-2. Igor Vetekele was kept out by the crossbar, and shortly afterwards Gary Bowyer's men went on to seal the points. Jordan Rhodes, who's been a real nemesis for Charlton, struck his 4th goal of the season against the Addicts to secure the points for Rovers. But it only took Charlton 3 days to rediscover the winning habit at Bloomfield Road, where they overcame both their opposition and a dreadful surface. Chris Eagles tapped in to open the scoring against his former side. 2 more goals followed after half-time. First, Simon Church doubled the advantage for his 2nd goal of the season. But Gudmundsson would have the final say with a delightful free kick to make it an excellent evening's work in Lancashire as Charlton won by 3-0. A 7th win in 9 games followed with a visit of Reading to the Valley, and the Addicts were forced to come from behind as Pavel Pobrekniak opened the scoring. But Charlton turned the game around with 3 second-half goals inside 22 minutes. Michael Hector's handball enabled Johnny Boyens to once more illustrate his cool head from the spot. And Boyens made it 2-1 in 70 minutes. A superb move was swept home by the Belgian from open play as Charlton ripped the Royals' defence apart. And it was 3-1 on 79 minutes. Simon Church netted against his former employers after more excellent work from Tony Watt. Reading's cause wasn't helped by the dismissal of Daniel Williams late on for an off-the-ball incident, but the Royals weren't about to throw in the towel. With the game in injury time, Pobrekniak grabbed his 2nd of the afternoon, but it proved to be mere consolation. With only 7 games left, Charlton's remarkable revival had them in 11th position and very comfortable in mid-table. The playoffs, though, were out of reach, as the season entered its final weeks. April began with a big South London derby against the Millwall side, who were fighting for their championship life. And Charlton were dealt a severe early blow as Chris Solly was red-carded by referee Mick Russell after an alleged handball, which resulted in the Lions being awarded a penalty. But from there, Stephen Henderson denied Lee Gregory to keep Charlton on level terms. And remarkably, the 10 men went in front midway through the second half. Alou Diarra's stunning flick put the visitors ahead, and dreaming of a first win over Millwall since 1996. But the extra man proved crucial as the Lions struck twice in the final 10 minutes to break Charlton hearts. Magai Guy's drilled finish drew the home side level. And Millwall would win the game with 3 minutes to go. Jos Højfeldt grabbed a dramatic late goal for the home side as the Addicts' winless run against the Lions continued. The following Tuesday, it was another relegation-haunted side, Fulham, who visited the Valley. Ross McCormack's early header meant the Addicts once again had it all to do. But the home side drew level almost immediately. Johan Gudmundsson converted Morgan Fox's cross to make it 1-1. And that's how this derby ended. Another stalemate followed at Hillsborough, but not before the Owls had taken the lead. Caelan Lavery swept the ball home as Wednesday gained the initiative. But with 15 minutes to go, the Addicts equalised. Chris Eagles was kept out before Johan Gudmundsson struck his 10th goal of what was an impressive season. The Charlton goal then led something of a charmed life as first Caelan Lavery and then Lloyd Isgrove struck the crossbar, but the visitors managed to escape with a point. And another draw followed at the Macron Stadium, but it started brightly for the Addicts. Frederick Bülow put them ahead inside 10 minutes. Charlton were unlucky not to add to that lead as they piled the pressure on the home side, and they were left to rue those missed opportunities. Because with just 11 minutes remaining, prolific marksman Adam Lafondra scored following Barry Bannon's assist. Both teams were forced to settle for a point. A Leeds United side rocked by turmoil off the pitch then visited the Valley, and despite all sorts of issues behind the scenes, they began impressively. After Tal Ben Haim had upended Sam Byram, the visitors were awarded a penalty. But not for the first time this season, Stephen Henderson made a dramatic save, this time keeping Billy Sharp off the scoresheet. Leeds, though, weren't to be denied. Steve Morrison's outrageous finish put the away team ahead shortly before the interval. But Charlton turned the game round with 2 goals inside the final quarter of an hour. Tony Watt's superb volley brought Charlton level. Almost immediately, Stuart Taylor failed to hold on to Johan Gudmundsson's shot and then proceeded to append Igor Vetikeli. It allowed Johnny Boyens to somewhat inevitably tuck away the resultant penalty as Charlton picked up their first win in 5 matches. The final away game of the season was at St Andrews, and it proved to be a disappointing one as the Addicts went down to defeat. A late goal from Lloyd Dyer proved the winner. And a visit of AFC Bournemouth would bring the curtain down on a sad note for Charlton. Spurred on by 4,500 visiting fans, hoping to see their side crowned champions, the Cherries were simply irresistible. Matt Ritchie's crisp strike set the tone. Former Charlton Academy product Harry Arter then capitalised on a defensive error to double the lead as the visitors celebrated promotion in fine style. They added a third late on. Ritchie grabbed his second of the afternoon, and with news filtering through that Watford had slipped up, the away supporters celebrated raucously as their side were crowned champions.
So congratulations, Bournemouth. You are champions. Well done.
So, after a roller coaster of a season, Charlton ended up in 12th place, well off the playoffs, but also a long way off the relegation zone in what had been overall a season of progression. The following evening, the Player of the Year awards took place. They were held in a North Stand function suite, and Joe Gomez was named Young Player of the Year following a really positive breakthrough season.
Hey Joe, congratulations, you've been selected by Valley Gold members as Charlton's Young Player of the Year. How does it feel?
It's a great experience, and obviously to end the season like this is humbling. I'm grateful, really. I'm surprised with obviously like Jordan Fox, they're great and they've been playing all season, so it's an honour to get the award. I'm just grateful. I mean, it's been a great experience, and I definitely didn't expect it coming into pre-season, but I've enjoyed it and I hope to push on and do bigger and better things.
For the big prize, Player of the Year was won by Jordan Cousins, who followed up his Young Player of the Year award the previous season with the top accolade this year after what was an excellent campaign for him.
Okay, Jordan Cousins, Charlton Athletics Player of the Season for 2014-15. How does it feel?
It's excellent. It's a great feeling, you know. Like, I didn't expect it because obviously I said in my speech that there was a high, number of, players that could have won it. Johan and Henderson, they've been terrific all season. So to be, picked above them players, it's an honour, and I'm proud of myself.
And you're in the running for Young Player of the Year as well, which you won last year. So it's a double whammy for you.
Yeah, I know. Young Player of the Year last season was a shot, and this year to get the big one, it's a good achievement, but it shows, that the work that the academy does producing young players with me and Joe, and souls over the years, and even Diego, that the academy, is working and it's doing its job.
You see how close the vote was. There was 5% between you and Johan. Not a lot in it, but I guess homegrown, it sort of saw you through.
Yeah, I know. I thought Johan would get it, to be honest, personally, because he scored some amazing goals this season, but it just shows that, the crowd and me being a player from, the academy helps me, and I just get that little percent at the end.
You scored a couple of decent goals yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Put yourself down. I mean, the goal against Wigan, obviously a highlight for you.
Yeah, of course. Probably the best goal I'll probably ever score. Hopefully, maybe in a couple of years I might score a goal better, but listen, if you asked me a couple of years ago would I score a goal like that, I would have told you no way. So probably the best goal that I probably ever will score. But yeah, there's other highlights in the season that I can go through, like things like winning at Brentford and Huddersfield at home. I thought they were probably the two best performances we've done of the season. But I'm just overwhelmed to win this award tonight.
I guess the most exciting thing for yourself and the supporters is that this is your second season as a professional.
Yeah.
You're only 21.
Yeah.
You nearly made 100 appearances. You'll be closing on that next season. I mean, it's such a great achievement for yourself.
I know. It's crazy. You telling me that now, it just makes me think, and it's crazy how in 2 years I could make so much appearances, But what, the hard work is not done. I've got, continue to work over the summer, improve on my game because there's still areas I need to improve on, and we come again strong next season.
But the final word goes to head coach Guy Luzon, who was able to reflect on a positive season and look forward with optimism to the new campaign.
Hey guys, come to the end of the season now. You came here in January with a mission.
Yes.
To stop Charlton from sliding down the table, get us up to mid-table. Mission accomplished.
Yes, I will be honest, when I arrived here and I watched after 2 days the games against Watford, I said to myself, we're big trouble. But after I start to work with the players and to feel and to know the quality of them and the character, the great character of them, I know that will be great. And in the game against Brentford, it's the first time that I feel we have it. And we are in a good way, and I'm happy that 2 months before the season finish, we knew that we will stay in the league and we are safe and we can enjoy football. I will make everything that next season we will continue to play positive football and attacking football, and I hope that we will keep first the key players, and we'll upgrade the team with another 5-6 players, and it will be a better season next year.
How difficult was it to pick up those players who were really feeling down and were lacking confidence? How difficult was it to pick them up and get them winning again?
You know, football never is difficult for me because it's my love, and when you love something, it's never difficult for you. So it's really, you know, my easy job is in my life because the players and the character and the mentality of the players, because in England it's really, really different.
I mean, just on the more personal side of things, you're here tonight with your family and all the supporters. I mean, is this the sort of thing you've experienced before in other countries, or is this quite unique to a club like Charlton?
It's really, really unique, you know. And 15 years a manager and 25, 30 years in this business, and the first time that I know that we have this tradition. It's great. It's only special in Charlton in England, because I always say that it's not coincidence that all the players and all the coaches want to be part of the English celebration. It's a very pleasure to me to be part of this club.
So you've only been here 4 months, but do you feel you're part of the Charlton family now?
It's great for me, and I'm looking forward for next year.
So that's it for the 2014-2015 season. It was one which provided a few lows, but plenty of highs. It really was a roller coaster of a campaign. We look forward to seeing you back in the Valley in August, when Charlton will be aiming to go one better and secure a top 6 finish. But now we'll leave you with some memories of some spectacular goals scored over the course of the campaign. Until next time, goodbye.